least in the wintertime lately. Anyway, keeping an eye on the webcams, and I found this little low spot. The beach is very, very filled in. It's very sanded. There's a little wet spot, and then there's another wet spot down beyond that. Looks like a little bit of a low spot in there, a little cutout, a little wash. So, quite a bit of shells, embedded rocks, shells in this area, more so than the rest of the beach. So hopefully something got deposited in here and or exposed. So let's give it a shot. I'm not expecting anything big, but you never know. I'll be back. The upper part of this washout. Upper part and a little bit off to the side. I started on one end. I'm going to work into it, so I only walked a few feet and I got this signal, so. And it's coin signal, and it's a dime, it looks like. Yep, clad dime. Okay. Signal here. Back to it. Maybe moved about 8 feet from where I dug that dime. Okay, well, it's iffy. Seems fairly smooth though. For as deep as it seems to be. Let's see what we got. 2 scoops. Let's see if we can get it here on the third. When you get deep like this, if they're on edge, they're harder to pinpoint. Enough said, got it out. Something green in here. What's that? Alright, first green quarter of the day. Good sign. I'll take a quarters. Quarters and nickels and maybe a few fish and sinkers and on to the gold. Alright, back. Okay, I'm about mid-wash in here. I got a nice, solid mid-tone. Doesn't sound all that deep. So, let's see what we got here. Getting it a little more mulchy. Yeah, it's a nickel. It's okay. I'll take it. Alright, Jefferson nickel. In the mulch. Down lower into the wash. Mid-tones down here. That one was a nickel, but the last one I dug was a piece of can slaw. Now I'm getting another mid-tone, but it's a little bigger signal than a nickel. And this is what I don't like. I'm not crazy about. Yeah, see, I'm not crazy about this mulch. You tend to get a lot of light targets in there, but occasionally you get some heavy targets mixed in, so you gotta work through it and just dig the trash. Alright, down low in the saturated sand. Coin signal down here, shallow. Oh, there it is, right on the edge. See it right there? What is that, penny? It's a penny. Copper penny. Debris in here, and I'll tell you what, with this 15-inch coil, but I'll tell you, when you get a ferrous or a non-ferrous target, like I have here, it usually hits hard, no matter how deep it is. This is a nice mid-tone. Let's see what we got here. Sounds like it could be a nickel, but yep, and there it is. It was a nickel. Right here. Green nickel. Big head. All right, back now I'm seeing some fishing line. Hoping it's a sinker. Sinker on the upper bank would be always good. There it is, okay. I got lead. I'm rolling lead. Okay, not a big heavy one, but enough, if I can get up here, Gold Ring can do the same. Alright, back to it. That's a coin signal. Heck. It's getting warbly, telling me that might be a quarter. In fact, I see it right there in the top. I think that's it right there. Yep. Okay. So it was a quarter signal. Hey, back to it. Sounds like a mid-tone. If it's a nickel, nickels and quarters have been coming out pretty regularly on the upper part of the slope, so. Getting a few down low, but more of the heavy stuff has been up top along with that sinker. So I think it's right, the sinker I dug right next to it, actually. Kind of lost the signal. Knocked it on its side, maybe. A lot of mole crabs in the sand. Good sign of spring. Stripers are starting to come around. Seeing more stripers caught along the beach. That was a good sound signal too. Unless it slid down in the hole a little more. On edge. Tell you what, targets can do weird things in wet sand. Again, I forgot my pinpointer. Guess I'll be using it right now. I'll be back if anything good comes out. To think about when you're hunting in one of these washouts. What's interesting is where I got the bulk of my heavy targets, right in this area. Okay, there was a real good amount of iron. A lot of residual iron targets. It's driving this big coil a little nuts. I'm getting, a lot of iffy signals, a lot of spotty, bips and bops, that kind of thing, which is pretty, I'm pretty used to. Being as I am a tone hunter, I can usually tell the iron. But I almost wish I had my Excalibur with me with my 10-inch coil, because a small coil would have been a little better for this kind of terrain. But I'm moving slow. You just got to slow down with this Nell coil. It will separate targets pretty well for the size. For a 15-inch coil, this really does. But I'm noticing that the iron signals in here are a harbinger, so to speak, of heavier targets. That seems to be where all the heavier targets seem to be. So, little tip, if you're in one of these areas, you start getting a lot of iron, slow down, because you'll be amazed what is in that iron. Okay, well, back to it. Let's see where it goes. I'm only going to stay another 15-20 minutes, and then I'm out of here. Iron in here, but back to it. Moving real slow. I was able to pick a mid-tone out of here. There's little bips and burps all around it, but let's see what this is. Hear that? So maybe a non-ferrous target in all this iron. I'm not hearing it anymore. Oh, there it is. Knocked it down to the hole. Let's see if it's anything good. Okay. That's what it was making that sound. Steel screw. They'll fool you sometimes. Okay, back to it. Didn't sound all that deep. I did miss it the first time. Thinking penny. Yeah, green penny. Okay. Old copper penny. Green copper penny. Next to a piece of iron. Somewhat of a warbly signal. But that could be the trash that's around it, the iron, making it sound like that. Sounds like a coin. And it is a warbly signal because it's a quarter. Okay, another green quarter. Good amount of green quarters tonight. Few green nickels. Very promising area. This is up the very top of this slope. Very nice. So back to it. There's a warbly signal up here. These are fairly shallow, so I'm thinking maybe not this one. I don't know. What is this? I'm seeing rust. Uh-oh. It's a little deeper. There it was. Okay, so it's deep quarter. Anyway, getting enough quarters up in here, so let's keep at it. I decided to crisscross up in the upper part of the slope. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to work up to just about the where those tire tracks are. See those tire tracks over there. So, at any rate, I'm hitting stuff that I missed the first time through. I'm surprised. I'm getting quarters. So let's see what I missed. But this is where all this iron is up in here. Just have to move it super slow. I am moving this 15-inch coil. I am just crawling it through here. So it's going to take me probably another hour to get through this before I can go home. So let's see where it is, and I'll be back. Okay, I did about 3 hours on the beach today. Didn't feel like it, but I stayed in one area. Hunted this. I actually had two nice little washouts to hunt. I decided to stay in one, and I worked it east to west, and then I turned and worked it north to south. So I gridded it pretty good. In fact, I didn't even grid all of it. I just gridded where it was most productive. First, this is the lead. Little jig head. 1 ounce bank sinker. I thought this might be a ring, but it was a at first, but I thought it was, but it's a piece of brass, some kind of brass fitting for something. The trash, the usual junk, screw, wire. A lot of insulated wire comes out of there. The pennies. These are the I only had 5 zinc pennies, which impressed me. The light coins were not there. I've been digging pennies and dimes all winter, and they just didn't seem to be there today. So 4 of them were copper pennies, and 1 was a zinc penny. 2, 4, 6 dimes, clad dimes. 4 nickels. And the star of the show were the quarters today. So it's like $3.50 in quarters. So overall, I was pretty happy. Just hunted that one small washout. Could have been more than a half a block wide. And most of the targets were coming, like I said, were coming out of the mid slope up to the very top. And so, my guess is a lot of them came out of the washed out of the bank. So, and those were transported. A lot of those were transported up there during the storms that we had earlier in the winter. So, it's the beach conveyor belt doing its thing. I still have a little more of that to grid, and I'm going to hit that other wash tomorrow. So hopefully I'll get out there tomorrow afternoon tide. Good luck to anybody getting out, and well, I guess I'll see you on the beach.